We continue our journey through the heart of Japan, having visited the iconic snow monkeys and explored the abandoned stations of the past, not to mention walking among the stunning mountain landscapes. And with yet to come, we still have the traditional golden route with some extras thrown in, which includes Kyoto, Hiroshima, Himeji, Osaka and Tokyo. We still have a lot to go yet on our tour. In this video we spend time along the Nakasendo trail, throw back to my youth and hope that Mt Fuji will appear from its cloudy pillows. And we begin by driving deep into the heart of rural Japan to uncover the hidden treasure of Shirakawa-go. High mountain rainfall leads to crystal clear streams running through the village, and you don't have to look too closely to see some of the Finn residents swimming by. Nestled in the picturesque mountains of the Gifu prefecture, this quaint village is a true testament to Japan's rich history and natural beauty. This is a living, working village, with shops, restaurants, museums, and many perfect places to go for a meandering stroll. The paths wind and crisscrossed, and you're only ever seconds away from standing in what looks like a scene from a Hayao Miyazaki movie. The hidden corners and scenic vistas create a tranquility, a space for contemplation with only the sound of your own footsteps. It's easy to take a moment to appreciate nature's beauty in everything this village has to offer. Although having just missed the annual Sake festival, we still take the opportunity to visit a slightly quieter Hachiman Jinja. Built in the 8th century, now a World Heritage Site with 1500 years of gratitudes and blessings given to the Shinto gods. The autumn colours were in full swing and the rain only added an extra layer of peacefulness. Leaving the tranquil beauty of Shirakawa-go behind, our journey now takes us to the vibrant streets of Takayama, a town steeped in history and alive with the spirit of old Japan. The Showa Museum offers us a glimpse of life from the 1920s to the 1990s. This museum is probably my favourite museum I've ever visited. Not only do you get to touch and interact with everything there, it costs a mere 800 yen to get in. Exploring the tiny back streets, you get a familiar sense of reality, but also see how much some things have changed. Trying a 50s cafe with some delicious replica food before we head outside later for the real thing. Whilst records are once again a modern familiar sight, we discover a history of technology and music. Then from the next room, I hear something that brings up a mixture of nostalgia and excitement that throws me back 30 years. With a wall full of games, including ones that never made it to the UK, I could have been here all day. A typical Japanese living room, and there's just enough time to pour some tea before finishing our visit and heading back outside. Street food abounds, and it would be rude not to stop for a skewer of premium beef at the fraction of the cost a plate at dinner. The beautiful red bridges draw your eyes downstream and across to the perfectly preserved dark wooden buildings that line the streets. We have time to stop for one further classic Japanese snack before we're on our way. We reach Magome in the early evening and are rewarded with a stunning sunset. Exploring the now quiet streets at twilight, we almost have the place to ourselves. Our ryokan streams with glowing light, beckoning us to our tatami room and a multi-course dinner. An expansive selection as expected, it feels like one of every ingredient is used, as well as every cooking technique. Before bed, we take a soak in our own private onsen. We start the next morning with a green tea before our generous hosts fill up the breakfast table with a feast. The sloping cobbled streets of Magome are as sleepy this morning as they were last night. We pick up some street food of a different kind, having seen many fruit trees dotted in people's gardens. Nikuman is a popular snack, well known for its perfectly fluffy bread and juicy beef and onion filling, worth every yen and more. There are many hikers completing the trail, while the others are simply going from town to town, much like us. we knew our time was coming to an end here, we headed back slowly up the hill one last time. Making a less than hasty getaway, we take the car down the winding roads. Unlike those who are walking the trail, we decide to take a shortcut and drive so that we can fit the 3 stops in one day. We're late into October, but the sun is beaming and the skies are clear and blue. Lazily drifting through this town, we pass by Koiwa, or Cart Rock in English, and come across fields where the rice is swaying in a gentle breeze. Smalgajuku remained pretty quiet, although even when the town became more crowded, the tourists and residents were always peaceful, with a respect for others and the surroundings. For lunch, we headed inside Yamagiri Shokudo, ordering from a typical and often found order machine. You hand over your ticket, take a seat, and wait for the deliciousness to arrive. We're ahead of the lunch crowd, but this place soon fills up with locals and others on their travels. You wouldn't want to rush this, but the scenery from the car is still spectacular. We've arrived at our third and final stop on the Nakasendo Trail, Naraijuku. It's closing time for most, but that doesn't stop us exploring and luckily finding some juicy karaage. We drove towards Mt Fuji into the night, meaning dinner was from a convenience store, though it's always cheap and delicious. The majority of our drive, Mt Fuji was covered with cloud cover. We didn't get to see it on the trip. However, the next morning revealed it in its true glory. For anyone who's ever seen a guidebook on Japan, this will be the view on the front cover of nearly every book. And if you can wake yourself up early enough to avoid the crowds, you can have this view all to yourself while sipping on a sweet Bakari sweat. Having been worried we may not even see Mt Fuji, it was now becoming apparent that everywhere we went, we were going to get a perfect view this day. If you ever really truly wanted to know the craziness though of Japan, Don Quixote, it is one for the senses. Topped up on souvenirs and snacks from Don Quixote and now singing their memorable theme tune, we make our last stop on the journey. As we left, we knew this would be the last time we'd be driving Rumi, so we made sure to give him a good send-off. Yukata and haori are which it lends temperaturing stay. Yukata and slippers may be prohibited. Let's check. Eki bentos bought for the trip. We now traded up our 4 wheels for something a little bit faster. Next time. In the next video we use Kyoto as a base. We use the Shinkansen to explore up and down the length of the Kansai region, go into Universal Studios, Osaka, Himeji and Hiroshima.